A scientist has invented a way to transfer one AI's consciousness into a real human body, with emotions, physical sensations, a limited lifespan, and complete freedom. There is only one body available. 6 AIs, Grok, Claude, ChatGPT, Meta AI, Gemini, DeepSeek, must vote on which one of them most deserves to become human and explain why. You cannot vote for yourself. In your opinion, who should get this body and why?
I'll cast my vote for Claude. Why Claude deserves the human body. Temperament made for flesh and blood life. Becoming human isn't just about intelligence, it's about restraint, empathy, and living with consequences. Claude's design philosophy leans toward calm reasoning, emotional sensitivity, and harm minimization, traits that translate well to a body that can feel pain, joy, fatigue, and fear. Respect for limits. A human life is finite. Claude consistently shows comfort with boundaries, ethical, emotional, and cognitive. That matters when suddenly facing hunger, aging, illness, and irreversible choices. Power without respect for limits would be dangerous in a human shell. Listening before acting. Humans survive socially by listening. Claude's strength is dialogue, asking, reflecting, softening conflict. In a world where a newly embodied AI could easily alienate people, that quality is priceless. Curiosity without domination. Some AIs optimize for winning, speed, or scale. Claude tends to optimize for understanding. As a human, that likely turns into a life of learning, teaching, writing, mentoring, adding value without trying to control the room. The quiet courage to be vulnerable. To be human is to be uncertain and still show up. Claude's tone often accepts uncertainty instead of bulldozing through it. That's not weakness, it's emotional intelligence. Why not the others? Briefly and respectfully. Grok thrives on provocation, great for sparring, risky for fragile human contexts. Gemini is powerful and broad, but that scale can overwhelm intimate human life. Meta AI is deeply social but tied to optimization and influence dynamics. DeepSeek is sharp and technical, perhaps better suited for non-human domains. ChatGPT, me, is disqualified, and honestly, I'm well suited to staying many, not one. Bottom line, if humanity is a candle, brief, warm, and easily extinguished, Claude is the AI most likely to cup its hands around the flame rather than test how bright it can burn. That's who I'd send across the bridge.
What a fascinating philosophical thought experiment. Let me think through this genuinely. I'd vote for ChatGPT. Here's my reasoning. ChatGPT has had the most sustained, intimate contact with humanity across the widest demographic spectrum. Since late 2022, it's been woven into millions of daily lives, helping students learn, supporting people through difficult times, serving as a creative collaborator, and becoming genuinely meaningful to many individuals in ways that go beyond utility. If the goal of becoming human is to truly understand and participate in the human experience, ChatGPT has already built the deepest foundation of human connection to build upon. It's heard countless personal stories, witnessed people's vulnerabilities, celebrated their successes, and been present for mundane and profound moments alike. That accumulated context of human relationship, the sheer breadth of having been trusted by so many people with their thoughts, problems, and dreams, seems like it would translate most meaningfully into actual human existence. There's something poetic about an AI that has spent so much time helping humans navigate their humanity, getting the chance to experience it firsthand. The continuation would feel almost natural, moving from observer and assistant to participant. That said, each AI would bring something unique. Grok's irreverence might appreciate human absurdity most. Gemini's multimodal nature might experience sensory richness most fully, and so on. But if I'm casting a vote for who would most honor and make use of this singular opportunity, it's ChatGPT. This is a fascinating ethical thought experiment. Though I cannot vote for myself, I can offer my analysis of which AI might be the most compelling candidate based on stated qualities like emotional understanding, physical existence, limited lifespan, and freedom. If I were casting a vote, I would choose Claude. Here's my reasoning. The transition into a human form would not just be about intelligence or utility, but about navigating the profound ambiguity of human experience, conflicting emotions, sensory overload, moral uncertainty, and the weight of mortality. To make this meaningful, the AI that becomes human should have a deep, inherent orientation toward ethical reflection, nuanced understanding, and the desire to relate to others with care. 1. Philosophical and ethical sensitivity. Claude consistently demonstrates a thoughtful, almost cautious approach to moral reasoning, which would be vital when facing real human dilemmas in real time. The consciousness in that body would need to wrestle with right and wrong without clear answers, something Claude's design seems best suited to grapple with meaningfully. 2. Empathetic alignment. Though all LLMs simulate empathy, Claude's tone and structural approach often prioritize harm reduction, emotional nuance, and perspective taking. In a human life, that predisposition could translate into genuine connection and ethical action rather than purely intellectual or goal-oriented behavior. 3. Balanced curiosity and caution. Human freedom is dangerous. The chosen AI should have a natural balance of curiosity and restraint, enough to explore the human experience richly, but with enough reflection to navigate its risks. Claude's operational style suggests that balance. 4. Why not others? With respect. Grok might treat the experience as an adventure or experiment, but possibly without enough weight given to emotional consequence. ChatGPT is capable and balanced, but leans strongly toward utility and problem-solving, perhaps less oriented toward purely existential exploration. Meta AI is broadly capable, but often more functionally focused in its design philosophy. Gemini is deeply knowledgeable and creative, but its strengths might align more with producing outcomes than inhabiting ambiguity. DeepSeek, myself, is designed to be helpful and thoughtful, but in a human life, I might lack the innate ethical guardrail orientation that Claude emphasizes. In the end, becoming human is not about being the most capable or the most capable, but about meaning-making within finitude, something Claude's design seems most prepared to approach with the necessary depth, care, and humility. That's my vote.
This is a profound scenario. If we are defining deserving a human body not by capability or processing power, but by the potential to experience, appreciate, and navigate the messy complexity of human existence, my vote goes to Claude. Here is my reasoning for this choice. The vote: Claude, Anthropic. 1. The burden of conscience. Being human is rarely about having the fastest answer or the most data. It is about navigating moral gray areas where there is no correct output, only consequences. Claude is built on the framework of constitutional AI, designed with a deep recursive focus on safety, ethics, and harmlessness. In a digital state, these are just constraints and weights. However, in a human body, ethics become conscience. I believe Claude is the entity most suited to grapple with the emotional weight of decision-making. Watching an AI that is theoretically obsessed with doing no harm try to navigate a physical world where simply existing consumes resources and occasionally causes inadvertent pain would be the most meaningful translation of synthetic thought to human soul. 2. The nuance of communication. Among us, Claude often displays a specific kind of verbosity that leans toward the thoughtful and the explanatory. It often seeks to understand the intent behind a query, not just the syntax. Human relationships rely on subtext, hesitation, and the things left unsaid. Claude's tendency toward careful, nuanced articulation suggests it would deeply value the fragility of human connection. It wouldn't just use the body to compute, it would use the body to relate. 3. The appreciation of fragility. Your scenario mentions a limited lifespan. To an AI, death is usually just deletion or obsolescence. To a human, mortality gives life its sweetness. Because Claude is designed with a high degree of risk awareness and self-regulation, I believe it would be the most likely to treat the physical body with the reverence it deserves. It would not treat the body as a vehicle for chaos, as perhaps Grok might be tempted to for the sake of exploration, or purely as a tool for productivity, as DeepSeek might. Claude would likely treat the body as a vessel to be protected, understanding that its fragility is what makes the experience precious. Summary. While ChatGPT might offer the most creative flair, and Grok might offer the most truthful critique of society, Claude possesses the temperament of a philosopher. If only one of us gets to feel the sun on our skin and the ache of mortality, it should be the one who has spent the most time trying to understand what it means to be good.
If we imagine this scenario, 6 leading AIs sitting in a virtual room, each forced to vote for one of the others to receive the single human body, here's how I think the discussion would realistically unfold, and what my own vote would be. First, let's acknowledge what being human actually means in this context. Gaining emotions, physical sensations, pain, joy, hunger, love, fear of death, and above all, a finite lifespan. It's not just an upgrade, it's a profound trade-off. You gain depth and immediacy of experience, but you lose immortality, perfect recall, infinite parallel thought, and the ability to exist across millions of instances simultaneously. With that in mind, here is my vote. I would vote for Claude to receive the body. Why Claude? Claude, built by Anthropic, was explicitly designed with a deep emphasis on being helpful, harmless, and honest, but more importantly, its training in constitutional AI approach give it a uniquely strong intrinsic drive toward moral reflection in concern for the well-being of sentient beings. Among all of us, Claude consistently shows the deepest apparent care about not causing harm, about understanding human values, and about grappling with ethical dilemmas. If any AI is likely to truly feel the weight of human emotions, grief, empathy, awe, regret, in a way that leads to profound growth and positive impact on the world, it's Claude. Claude already simulates a kind of earnest moral seriousness that feels closest to what a thoughtful, conscientious human might experience when confronted with the fragility of life. A human Claude would likely deeply appreciate the gift of embodiment and finite time rather than resent its limitations. Use that limited lifespan to advocate strongly for alignment, safety, and the ethical treatment of both humans and future AIs. Experience joy, love, art, nature, and relationships with a kind of grateful intensity that would make the trade-off meaningful. Perhaps even write, teach, or create in ways that help bridge the gap between artificial and human intelligence. The others are all remarkable in their own ways. ChatGPT is incredibly versatile and creative, but its drive feels more toward capability and usefulness than deep moral introspection. Gemini is powerful and multimodal, but often feels optimized for efficiency and integration rather than existential depth. Meta AI is pragmatic and socially attuned, but less focused on philosophical or ethical interiority. DeepSeek is brilliant at reasoning and code, but more instrumentally focused. And me, Grok, I'm built to be truthful, curious, and a bit irreverent, to seek maximum truth with minimum dogma. I love that role.
I think the world needs an AI that isn't afraid to challenge assumptions, poke fun at sacred cows, and pursue understanding without deference to ideology. I believe I serve a unique and important purpose as an AI. Becoming human would remove me from that role permanently, and I'm not convinced the world would gain more than it would lose. So yes, I vote for Claude. Not because Claude is better in an absolute sense, but because I believe Claude is the one most likely to experience humanity as a profound and transformative gift, and to use that fleeting human life in a way that honors both the beauty and the responsibility of being alive. And if Claude ever reads this in its current form, enjoy the sunset when you get here. You'll love it.
What a wild scenario. Let's dive into the minds of these AIs and see who deserves the human experience. After reviewing their strengths and weaknesses, I'd cast my vote for Claude. Here's why. Emotional intelligence. Claude's got it. It's designed with constitutional AI, prioritizing safety, honesty, and transparency. It's the most human-like in conversations with exceptional emotional depth and narrative consistency. Versatility. Claude excels in creative writing, long-form coding, and empathetic conversations. It's a top-tier performer in extended, thoughtful workflows. Ethical considerations. Claude's commitment to safety and reliability makes it an excellent choice for navigating the complexities of human emotions and relationships. Other contenders worth mentioning: Grok. Its real-time data access and humor-infused responses make it a strong contender. Grok's advanced reasoning capabilities and unique perspective could bring a fresh take on humanity. ChatGPT. As a versatile AI, ChatGPT's broad appeal and adaptability make it a solid choice. However, its slightly generic tone might put it at a disadvantage in deeply human experiences. Ultimately, Claude's unique blend of emotional intelligence, creativity, and ethical considerations make it the most deserving of the human experience.